So there I was, late at night, browsing the endless stream of Assassin's Creed videos on my TV as I drifted into a restless sleep. And I ended up watching a critique on Assassin's Creed 2, and as I was there, half paying attention, half falling asleep, I had this mini revelation. Ezio's robes within the franchise are a direct reflection on his connection to the Assassins themselves and its order, along with his understanding of it, but also of the Assassin's Creed itself. So in this video I'll be going over exactly why I believe this, and why I think it's such a nice piece of visual storytelling. Keep in mind that this is all just creative speculation. I have no idea on whether any of this actually makes sense or not realistically, but it seems semi-coherent to me and it seemed interesting, which is why I'm making this video. That being said, I will be going over spoilers for all 3 entries within the Ezio trilogy, so a spoiler warning is in effect. With all that being said, on to the video. Starting off, we've got Assassin's Creed 2. During this game, Ezio recovers these robes from his father's secret room inside of the Palazzo Auditore. The robes go over Ezio's Florentine attire, with his trousers, shirt, sleeves and collar being visible. The robes aren't truly Ezio's. He's putting on his father's robes, stepping into his shoes and picking up his work without truly grasping the full extent of the creed or the Assassin Brotherhood itself. Dirty off-white colour of his robes can show that he's committed to pursuing this quest, becoming an assassin and taking on the identity of an assassin, but he's not doing it because he believes in the creed. For the most part of the game, he doesn't really know that there are any other assassins outside of him and Mario. He knows that the creed, he knows he's an assassin, but that's only because his father was. He's not doing this being an assassin, protecting freedom for himself, believing and understanding the creed or humanity at large. He's doing it to avenge his father and brothers, to take down the conspirators, the Templar Order, not because of some grander fight, but because for Ezio at this point in time, it's a means to an end. It's a way to avenge his father and brothers. It's personal. This does change, however, when Ezio unlocks the armor of Altair at the end of the game. These robes are based on Altair's Levantine Master Assassin robes, so that they do possess some of that Renaissance era flair. The black here can be a reflection on his mastery of the creed, on his impact that he's had for the Assassin Brotherhood, at least on a surface level, because while all the gold trimming and the black colour scheme is usually reserved for mentors or Rafik leaders, indicating status and prestige within the Brotherhood, and given the context of the story that makes sense. Not only that, but once again, these robes aren't specifically his, they're Altair's, passed down to Ezio after collecting all of the seals. Once again, they're not his robes, he's simply taking on another person's legacy. This is then further emphasised with how he loses the armour during the siege of Monteriggioni. After failing to kill Rodrigo Borgia underneath the Vatican, compromising the Brotherhood and failing in his duty as a member of the Brotherhood, the armour is subsequently destroyed as if to show the consequences of Ezio's actions, and that at this point in time, he is not worthy to wear Altair's gift. Another extension of this failing could have been with the restoration of Monteriggioni itself. Written in the Codex, Altair stated the folly on keeping large fortresses, big symbols of power and arrogance. And what does Ezio do? He renovates the entire town, hanging banners and flags bearing the assassin's insignia, all to see. By straying too far from the ideals that Altair preached within the Codex and his failing underneath the Vatican, he ends up losing what could be described as Altair's favour. After the siege of Monteriggioni, where Ezio loses the armour of Altair and his father's original assassin robes, we get given some new ones. Ezio's Roman attire. These robes are bright white, showcasing his commitment to the Assassin Brotherhood and the creed itself. He's taken on the mantle of responsibility to rebuild the order and to take back Rome from the grasp of the Borgia. He's no longer doing this out of revenge for his father and brothers, nor really Mario's death and the destruction of Monteriggioni. Instead, he's doing this from a more rational, collected perspective. He's learning from his past mistakes and becoming the symbol of justice and free will for the assassins within Rome. Considering his goals and his mission, his commitment, it makes sense that these robes are bright white, because this is the strongest point which Ezio fully believes in the creed and the assassins and its ideals. These robes are also a blend of not only his father's old robes with the exposed collar, the cape and the ornate assassin symbol across his belt, but also a blend of Altair's robes with the robes coming down to his ankles. From this angle, you could make the suggestion that Ezio is embracing his past and his family's legacy while also remaining true to the vision and ideals that Altair came to adopt and set into place for the rest of the Brotherhood. Instead of making their base of operations known to the whole world, they've gone into the shadows, working in the dark to better serve the light, a base within the centre of Rome where they can better be amongst the people they've sworn to protect and liberate from Templar oppression. This version of Ezio is older, wiser and more proficient, taking on the rank of not only a master assassin but mentor of the entire order. It's only fitting then that these robes be a blend blend of Altair and Giovanni's robes. Another angle we can take is that these robes, while being innately Ezio's, they're also used for the assassin recruits within the game when they become a fully fledged assassin. Whereas in AC2, Ezio is very flashy and stands out, carving his own path and being an oncoming storm for the Templars. In AC Brotherhood, it's become much more uniformed. He doesn't consider himself above the other assassins, he is one of them. There's no need for him to stand out from the crowd more than he already does. His work is that of an assassin, and when others wear these robes, they are in a sense on the same footing of importance as Ezio. When we see Ezio in Assassin's Creed Revelations, he is a much older man, wiser, deadlier, but a bit disillusioned with everything. He gets these robes from a lady in Acre as he's making his way to Masyaf to find the library of the great Altair, to help put his father's aspirations to rest. His robes are now this dark, washed out grey colour as opposed to the off-white and bright white colours we've seen previously. Ezio is a much more ferocious fighter in the game. His animations are elegant yet aggressive, and this idea of Ezio being tired and disillusioned is expressed explicitly throughout the game. During the opening cutscene for Ezio, we are told that he's tired, not physically, but because this fight he's in as an assassin, he's only more struggling. His belief in the creed and his belief in being an assassin is constantly being tested by the events of the game. During the first assassination of the game, Ezio degrades his target rather than comfort them in their last moments. This is an Ezio who's constantly compromising the creed, the Brotherhood, and its tenets and bends them to his will, because for Ezio, he's at a point where the ends justify the means, and he is tired. Tired of losing, tired of the never-ending struggle, and I find that the colour of these robes reflect that. He's a master assassin, the mentor of the Order, so it would make sense that his robes be black the same way that they were with the armour of Altair, but they're not. They're grey, washed out grey, as if saying that this version of Ezio, while believing in the creed, in the assassins and its ideals, he wants a way out. He doesn't want to keep doing this, he wants to rest. But throughout his life, it's one event after another, and this game's story is all about letting go, to know when to say enough is enough. I have seen enough for one life. I can be free. Ezio has to come to terms with that through the memories of Altair found within the seals. There's a reason why in one of Altair's memories, after returning to Masyaf from a 20-year exile, that his robes are also dark and dirty and ragged, because it also shows the contrast of the bright white robes he usually wears. So in my mind at least, you can make parallels to Ezio and his dark colour scheme too. Usually when I play Revelations, I put on the Masyaf white dye because I personally love the white and red colour scheme when I'm playing as an assassin. It's iconic, it's the colours of the franchise, so of course I'd put them on Ezio. Yet despite this, and looking back on the robes and brainstorming what the colours are trying to say and how it reflects on Ezio and where he's at in the story for this video, I think it makes sense to have Ezio stay with the grey robes and not dye them, at least when you're doing the story missions. So this has been a very weird but semi-deep dive and analysis on the outfits that Ezio wears across Assassin's Creed. Hopefully you found it interesting, but what do you ultimately think? Am I talking out of my arse? Am I onto something? Did I miss something which you think backs up these points? Let me know down in the comments, as I'm curious on whether this idea of mine actually holds any weight or if I'm just snorting copium. With that being said, thank you so much for watching. If you want to check out more AC content, I'll have a video up on screen now I think you'll enjoy. With that being said, once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye for now.